So we've been hearing a lot lately about this shooter, this assassin, and I think it was Rolling Stone that started spreading this thing first, talking about how the assassin was a straight conservative white male and all this other crap. It's your buddy Moo Juice Magic here, and we now know that none of that is true at all. All of that is a myth. He was never registered as a Republican to vote. He did not donate money to Donald Trump ever. His family absolutely is conservative. I believe Mormon. Not as involved in their church as they used to be, but they still go to church occasionally. Dad was a sheriff, was actually who turned him in. One of the people that turned him in apparently was his dad, or convinced him to turn himself in. Cash, I'm looking at you for saying that you caught him. But this dude was the opposite of all that. That's kind of like saying, well, his family was Republican, so he's a Republican. Okay, that's not how this works. Like, my dad was an excellent mechanic, and I suck at working on cars, so it's a stupid argument. But we have more and more information about who this dude is that we heard about. We've heard people from his high school talk about how, when he was younger, he was relatively conservative, and then as he progressed through the end of high school, he became increasingly more liberal and more leftist and woke and pro Antifa. He's spending most of his time on Discord and Reddit, getting corrupted by those sick basement dwelling Goombas. And we see a whole different story. And it keeps getting posted over and over and over and reshared and regurgitated by people on the left saying, well, it's one of your people. Well, it's not. It never is. It's almost never a conservative anything shooting anyone up outside of self-defense, guys. You have to understand that. Yes, it happens. Yes, there's bad shootings. It's almost never the case. It's almost always a liberal or a far, far extreme person. And when you're that far extreme, you're no longer right wing at all. You go right back in the butthole of liberalism. You're right back there with the hardcore commies. That's how we view you. You're not one of us. It's not the same thing. So when you have these idiots come together and say all this shit over and over, hoping it will just get the narrative out there enough where they don't have to tell the truth and face the facts that their side is the fucked up one, we just get more and more pissed off. And it just motivates us to rub your face in the dirt a little more. Well, now there's an interview with Tyler Robinson, the assassin of Charlie Kirk's neighbor. And what is Tyler Robinson's middle name? Because assassins usually run by 3 names. That's what we need to bring that back so you can verify just instantly knowing he killed someone, because that's all he's worth is what he did to our society. This point in our country that is now going to shift in a direction that you guys historically you did not want to see coming. I'm just going to say, if you're on the left, you did not want to see this day. And about 1,000 people that have lost their job know that. But here's what the neighbor has to say about them, because I want to address this idea that he was a heterosexual male, which is a different kind of thing.
So,
how long ago was that?
I would say about 2 weeks ago.
And so they looked like they were a couple?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was dressed all in black?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And you thought he was weird?
Yeah, I definitely, yeah.
What was weird about him?
Just the way he walked and just the way I've seen him. I've never seen really anybody dressed all in black with a mask on, and I thought that was just quite weird.
For those who've never
How many years after the pandemic?
Describe that person for us.
He did have freckles on his face. For the haircut, it was a weird haircut. I can't quite. It was kind of a mushroom-shaped one. Yeah, I would say he didn't come out much, but definitely a few other, just a little bit at a time.
There's some published reports out there that this individual, the roommate, may have been transitioning. Did that correlate with what you saw?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so he was going to have an operation to turn into a woman.
Yeah, and I think he's getting ready for that.
Sorry.
Okay, so now we've established pretty clearly this guy was also gay, and there was a transgender link to this entire thing, which is something I said from day one, that this is probably what kind of person it was. The thing that I got wrong was I thought it was going to be a middle-aged guy. I didn't pin it on a young white gay guy. It's a middle-aged guy is what I thought it was going to be. So I was incorrect on that. I will admit that was my main mistake in assuming anything out of this entire case. I was right about every other part of it, so I'll take that as a W, because I'm still way more correct about this than anyone in the media seems to have been. Definitely on the left, because they already knew. That's the reality. The left-wing media, they already knew exactly what was going to come out. They knew what kind of person this was going to be, and they were scrambling immediately to try to paint this as a Republican, to paint this as a straight white male. And that's what they wanted. They wanted to spin the narrative early on because they knew it was going to be one of them, and they knew it was going to be a gay guy or a transvestite guy. They knew it was going to be something like that, and they had to do whatever they could to try to hide this shit. And that's just what they do. They try to spin the details and the facts, and it sucks. Now, I'm not saying that every transvestite, transgender person would do this, because I don't believe that at all. I think a lot of them are really kind-hearted people. Like, I know quite a few that are very sweet and would not be okay with this. They might not have agreed with what Charlie Kirk said, but they wouldn't have wanted to wish his death, and they certainly wouldn't have celebrated it. And anyone that is, I'm just cutting off from my life, because I don't need people like that. Because you can't, if you're a conservative and you're around people that are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, like I've said before a few videos here, they'll celebrate when you die too, if they're not the one to knife you in the back or shoot you from afar. They'll happily do it, because to you, or to them, you are their enemy, and what they want to do is, they're cowards, so when they're next to you, they'll try to pretend that you guys are cool. But the minute another person that thinks like they do, and they feel like they can outnumber you and overtake you, is the minute you get trampled, or you have to fight back for yourself. Unfortunately, that is the way of the left. It's not just a gay or trans thing. That's the way of all of the left. That's what they do. They are spineless, wretched cowards. It's really pathetic. It's a disgusting way to be, and it's a disease that needs to be removed from our society. We need to remove any left-wing hardcore writing that is suggestive. And normally I wouldn't say that, but at least take it off until you're an adult. You shouldn't be even reading this shit in college. You should be going to college to learn college things, not to be turned into one of these slop hounds, one of these Goombas that wants to go and just tear the world down because they disagree with it. You disagree with it. It doesn't teach anything. These are people that have had no adversity in their life. They've had no hardship. They've had nothing that is a real struggle. So they have to have a struggle. They think that everything is a struggle. Their dad didn't hug them enough because he was too busy working. So down with the patriarchy. Or, whatever else bullshit excuse they come up with. My dad ducked out when I was 9, and I'm not like that, so I don't know what your fucking problem is. Maybe grow up hair. Well, I mean, some of these folks are trying to grow up hair, but they, have ovaries and a uterus, so it's not going to really work. But moving along, this is one of those situations where we know more now about who this guy is than we know about the dude that tried to assassinate Donald Trump the first time. That's weird to me. That's weird. So we need to revisit that whole thing too and get to the bottom of that. As for conspiracies in this, it's pretty cut and dry. The only people that knew about this going down before it happened were the shooter and a bunch of transvestites. And that's not a joke. There was like 6 people that knew about it, and he was the one that wasn't dressing like a girl. I'm Moo Juice Magic. Stay frosty, and I love you in the face, and I'll catch you in the next video. Oh yeah, if you haven't yet, like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, all of that.